Greetings YouTube and welcome back to another vlog. I hope you're all doing well. I'm not doing too bad other than sweating me absolute bollocks off. It is ridiculously hot out there today and inside as well. Apparently some places are going to reach temperatures of around 34 degrees, though I think that'll be mostly down south. I mean, it's warm enough as it is here. It's 29 degrees, but with the humidity, it probably feels like 129. I mean, maybe a bit of an exaggeration, but it is really, really warm today. I mean, it's just hot. The weather's going to be like this, well, for pretty much the rest of the week. But yeah, I'm not really looking forward to it. I mean, I don't mind the weather being sunny or anything. I don't mind it being a little warm, but I'm a wimp. I'm a pussy. Anything above 25 degrees, no, I'm not a fan at all. And I've had, speaking of the fan, pun not intended, I had it on, but after a couple of minutes or so, it's like as if it just makes no difference. I know it's a pity we don't have air conditioning in most British houses. I mean, that's one advantage that people have, like living in like really hot countries like Spain, even America though. Like a lot of these people have aircon. And you know, fair play to them. Yeah, but I couldn't do a vlog in here before because it was just too hot. As in, like, what made it hot was because the sun was like directly on me. As in, like, the sun was like, I have a window right near my computer, and with the sun like facing you, you feel the heat on your face. And obviously, you've been keeping it hydrated, which obviously that's what you gotta do. It's not like I'm going to like dehydrate because it ain't fun. Well, I've never dehydrated myself. However, in this weather, due to how warm it is, your mouth and everything just feels really dry. You can drink as much as you like. Well, not obviously not too much. You don't drinking too much water or fluids will just it mean you'll be going for a piss like every 15-20 minutes. But yeah, I'm not that bad. But like I say, obviously I have a bottle of water with me, and I've got a can of Diet Coke, so we're all good. But yeah, other than sweating my tits off, my week's, well, once I, well, it's only Tuesday, but yeah, the beginning of this week has been, I know it's been alright, just not a fan of this weather, but yeah. So yeah, one thing that you may have noticed is that I'm wearing the new Liverpool home shirt. And you know what? My shirt wasn't due to arrive until Friday, which is the 15th. It said on the, yeah, my tracking number said, the tracking order said it won't be available until the Friday. The shirt ended up arriving on Saturday, so I was really happy. So yeah, but yeah, I do like this shirt, Dorsey. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Obviously, Liverpool, we're back to Adidas. But yeah, as I say, it's just just show you that obviously Standard Chartered. And obviously I got like the Premier League sleeve on the patch. I had the Premier League like Champions patch. But yeah, I know I had to get that shirt. As soon as I heard Liverpool going back to Adidas, I'm like, you know what? I'm fucking spending my money on that. I didn't even buy any of the Liverpool kits last season because I didn't like them. I mean, the away shirt was alright, but the home shirt and the third, well, more so the home, it was a big no. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of the kits that Nike did for Liverpool were alright, but definitely not on the same level as like Adidas, so definitely not. Not on the same level as like Reebok, when we used to be, when I could used to be made by them, and Umbro if you're going back to the 1970s and 80s. But yeah, I'm really happy to get this because I didn't think it would be here, well, as early as it was. But yeah, so I just bought the home shirt. I wasn't sure whether to get the away kit or not. I decided not to. Thought I'd just buy the home shirt because I think I actually like the home shirt more than the away. I mean, nothing against the away shirt. That one is nice. But the thing is with me, I don't really wear like white away kits or white shirts in general. I mean, I do have like England shirts, but one of the reasons why I don't really wear white shirts is like you worry in case it gets stained. And yet, white clothing does get stained quite easily if you're not careful. Yeah, obviously you can like put it in the washer and use well, obviously the shit they put in the washer like wash powder, yeah, like the detergents and all that nonsense. But sometimes your shirts can stay white for so long. I mean, okay, that shirt, the away one, I'd say it's a slightly off-white, like an old English white colour that I used to, a creamish colour like what you used to see on like I'll use a car, for example, like a Morris Minor. But yeah, I got the home shirt, which I like. I mean, there's obviously the short sleeve one, which I've got, and obviously the away. Obviously, there's a long sleeve one as well, which I was disappointed Nike didn't do like long sleeve Liverpool shirts, except for like the goalkeeper ones, but you know. Yeah, and if you notice, I had a little bit of a bruise on my arm. That's, well, I mentioned it on the my last blog, which I did a few days ago. Like as a bit blood stud. Look, there's a bit of a bruise there. I'll tell you what, you should have seen the colour of it after I had it done. It was like, it was like proper purple, but it's obviously it's gone down compared to what it was, and you'd think your arm must be throbbing. I mean, it was for a day and a bit, but like I say, it's fine now. Because sometimes bruises look worse than what they actually are. But you have times where you have a bruise that you can barely see, but the pain is absolutely excruciating if you just happen to catch it a little bit. But yeah. So yeah, I'm happy that I got the new Liverpool kit. I mean, this was just like the standard one, and also there's the authentic one, which the players were, which cost like an extra 20 quid. And sometimes the ones made specifically for players, because I've had my player issue shirts about, they are tight as fuck. So obviously you have to usually go the next size up. Yeah, I know the shirts I got, this is an XL, an extra large, but it feels like an extra large. It's actually somewhat baggy, which I really like. But I can't wait for the third kit to come out, which is like it's like a darkish green, which I'll be getting that shirt. No, don't you wait. Don't you worry about that. And it better be a long sleeve as well, because I've seen what it could potentially look like in long sleeve. Oh my god. It's football kit porn. But even as a short sleeve, it still looks really good. But yeah, but this shirt, I prefer it. That one's short, but yeah. But yeah, I better like move away from just talking about this football shirt, because like you're probably getting a bit bored. But yeah, but speaking of football, I mean, I know some Arsenal fans. I mean, most are not delusional. I talked to a few who are genuine, and they are not happy with like Arteta, because they haven't won a trophy in 5 years. A team like Arsenal should be competing and winning trophies pretty much on a yearly basis, like what they used to do under Arsene Wenger. But I saw this. I was watching this football panel. I was there, and I tell you what this mutants, yeah, because that's what they are. They're a fucking mutant. You have to hear what they say about Arsene Wenger. I mean, I found that there's a short version of it, but yeah, but he was pretty much, this person was pretty much defending Mikel Arteta throughout pretty much the whole stream. But yeah, but thankfully there's a condensed version. But even the condensed version, it speaks volumes of the delusion. But this is some delusion that is something else. So I will show you the clip right away because it's on YouTube. I will take it away.
Arsene Wenger in his last iteration of Arsene Wenger is still better than Arteta in his best iteration.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Arsene Wenger at his end. Arsene Wenger at his end.
Sorry, Dan.
Arsene Wenger.
No, you're not. No, you're
Arsene
not.
Wenger.
No.
Arsene Wenger at the end of his time at Arsenal was no longer.
No, it doesn't matter to me.
Arsene Wenger at his end time at Arsenal was no longer the top manager you guys think he was. He was.
Where did he finish in his last season?
Naive, and he set us up so open.
Where did he finish?
He conceded ridiculous amount of goals.
Where did he finish in his last season?
Arsene Wenger might be better as an offensive manager, but he was no longer the top guy you think he is.
Is Arteta a top 5 manager in world football?
At this moment in time, I would say he's up there, yeah.
No, I asked, is he top 5? Not up there, is he top 5?
I can't think of 5 managers right now that are 100% better than him.
We're fighting a losing battle, boys.
That comment got me so crazy. I kicked the internet out.
Oh, Gal, I love it, Gal.
What did you think of that delusion? This is something else. And he's saying, this person called Igal, by the way, saying that Mikel Arteta is a better manager than Arsene Wenger. I mean, I'm a Liverpool fan, but Jesus Christ, that is like probably the most ridiculous take I've probably heard from a football fan. I use the term fan loosely because he seems more interested in Arteta than he is with Arsenal. And now Durham say that, oh yeah, and there was a bit of him in like the video where he was saying, well, in the stream, when he was saying, like, yeah, Mikel Arteta's first 5 years in charge of Arsenal were better than Arsene Wenger's last 5, which is an absolute fucking disgrace. Yes, Arsenal in the last couple of seasons, in Arsene Wenger's last few seasons, yeah, they weren't doing all that great in the Premier League, but guess what? He was still winning FA Cups with them. And in those final 5 years that Wenger had with Arsenal, guess how many FA Cups he won? 3. That's right, because the final 5 years that Arsene Wenger was in charge. Like I said, he won the FA Cup in 2014, 2015, and 2017. Arteta has only won 1 trophy, which was the FA Cup. Just 1. I mean, we don't count Community Shields, but yeah, how can he say that Arteta is a better manager? Oh, sorry. I had to make sure that me audio was up to scratch. It is. But yeah, what he's saying was just absolutely ridiculous. And he's saying that he's a better manager than what Arsene Wenger was as well. But I'll tell you what Arsene Wenger's won. He's won 3 Premiership titles, 7 FA Cups, and you can count the Community Shields. He won 7 of those, but that's if you want to count the Community Shields. Arsene Wenger got Arsenal to a Champions League final in 2006. What has Arteta done? Oh, we got to a semi-final. Yeah, fair enough. But you didn't get over the line. Wenger didn't get over the line with Arsenal in 2006. They should have won that final. But then as soon as Jens Lehmann got sent off, that was it. It went tits up. But yeah, to say that he's a better manager than Arsene Wenger is a fucking disgrace. It's an absolute pissing. George Graham was a better manager than Arteta. Yeah, George Graham, 2 league titles, 1989 and 91. He did an FA Cup and League Cup double in 93. European Cup Winners' Cup, 1994. And yeah, he's saying that he's a better manager. And he's trying to like recreate history. And he's saying, he also said that Arsenal didn't win anything from 2004, which is the biggest load of fucking codswallop ever. Oh yeah, what did Arsene Wenger win after winning the league in 2004? Oh yeah, he won the FA Cup 4 times in those seasons that Arsenal stopped winning the league. Yeah. 2005 when they beat Manchester United on penalties in a game that United probably should have won. 2014 when he came from 2-0 down to beat Hull City 3-2. 2015 they beat Villa 4-0. 2007 and 2017 when they beat Chelsea. I think Aaron Ramsey scored the goal that won them that. But some of the stuff that some of these football fans say is ridiculous. It's like saying that how can I put it? It's like saying Roy Evans is a better manager than what Jurgen Klopp was. But yeah, I mean Roy Evans, we only won 1 trophy on him, whereas with Klopp we won a few. Like we won the Premier League, we won the Champions League. What else? Yeah, I was in the FA Cup and 2 League Cups. Yeah, it's an absolute piss take. I know, I was watching that video, and you know what, my reaction was similar to the other panels were. You had people from rival fans who were in shock, and like, no. Like you've gone too far. But yeah, but guess who's won more European Cups, Wallop? Well, guess who's won a European trophy? Yeah, David Moyes with West Ham when he won them the Europa Conference. Arsenal will never, ever win anything under Arteta. Yeah, they won the FA Cup with him in 2020 when he actually had a decent team, which he then, after winning that, he just completely dismantled because he decided, you know, instead of buying players who are actually good for Arsenal, we'll buy yes men because we'll just buy players who will just do as I say. Instead of buying actual players that will help Arsenal get over the line and win trophies. Don't get me wrong, Victor Gyökeres, brilliant signing. As for the rest of them, the dog shit. I gotta be honest with you, I have to say it how it is. Because if you don't say it how it is, then you're part of the problem. You're accepting low standards. That's if you have any to begin with. I mean, I'm not letting the standards for my football club drop because it's Liverpool. We're the most successful team in England. I mean, in terms of fan base, United are much bigger in terms of fans. There's no argument about that. Because when I was in school, obviously you had Liverpool fans, but it was mostly Manchester United. And then you had one person who decided to be a glory hunter. At the time, they ended up changing the team from Liverpool to Chelsea. But I knew one person, no word of a lie, some person who I knew in college, they decided to change their team from Liverpool to Spurs. And the reason why was because Spurs finished higher than us in the table at that point. I'm like, what? What the hell? I mean, I've got nothing against Tottenham or anything like that. But why'd you change your team based on the league position? Is ridiculous. When I first supported Liverpool, when I first got into them, I didn't even know where we finished or anything like that. But obviously, I've done research over time and I realised the year that I supported Liverpool, we finished 7th in '99. And I didn't even know that. When I first got into Liverpool, was partly because my late granddad, he was a Liverpool fan. But the thing is, I didn't know anything about Liverpool other than they were the colour red, and I liked the footballers who were playing for them, like Michael Owen, Robbie Fowler. I try to think of someone like the really old players, Jamie Redknapp. Like when I was first getting into Liverpool. Then obviously I watched like Steven Gerrard. He's my favourite Liverpool player of all time. But yeah, and then we've seen great players come for overtime like Van Dijk, Salah, who have actually got on the back of this shirt, by the way. I wasn't sure which player to get, but yeah. But I think I've talked enough about the football because, yeah, I just thought I'd show you the new shirt I bought and show you what that mutant Igal said about Mikel Arteta and Arsene Wenger. I mean, it's just... It's an absolute fucking... It's a farce. Yeah. I know, it's like saying that, it's like saying a show like Mrs. Brown's Boys is better than Only Fools and Horses. Don't do that. It's an insult. But I don't know. So yeah, I just thought I'd do a quick video today because I had nothing better to do. But I just couldn't do it earlier on because it was just too hot in here. It's still really hot now, but compared to what it was earlier on, it's a lot more. It's more bearable. I use that very loosely. I'll have a quick sip of my water. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what else I could talk about because, like I said, I had stuff to talk about, but sometimes it's like as if, yeah, you have ideas in your head and all of a sudden it just disappears. So when I can't think of a topic straight away, sometimes like a random one will just pop into my head. I'm like, you know what, we'll talk about that instead. What I was going to talk about originally is like gone. Well, other than like the football stuff. So yeah, some person was saying that how can I put it? Yeah, I don't know. I had something else I want to say, but I completely lost it. But yeah, we'll talk about I don't mind talk about video game music. Why ever not? Why not? I mean, I talked about like music from the 80s and 90s on the previous vlog, but I don't think I'll talk about video game music for a little bit. So yeah, we'll talk about the 16 bits, like the Sega Mega Drive, the Super Nintendo, and then like the Commodore Amiga. But which computer do it? Which of these three I think has the best music? I think I'm going to have to say the Amiga, but saying that the Amiga is obviously going to have an advantage over the consoles due to some of the stuff that's produced. Obviously, you hear like some great like demo music and all that lot, but yeah, you'd expect that from like demos. You had like stuff like I'm trying to think of something like the demos. Was it Laxity? I know there's a few other like demos as well that I can't think. I mean, I'm trying to think of the one I do like. Was it? It's called Elysium or something like that. Fucking tune, but when I think of the Amiga, I mean, people talk about like the demo music and all that lot. I mean, do I think demo music is better than like the music that they produce for games? For the most part. But a lot like the early demos, they all sound pretty much the fucking same. Similar like instrumentations and all that lot. And some of it sounds more like Commodore 64 than it does Amiga, which, I mean, I haven't got a problem with that for the most part, but I don't know. I want an Amiga game to sound like an Amiga, not a Commodore 64. Unless it's like a game like, I mean, there was a shoot 'em up. I'm trying to figure the name of it. Wings of Death. That's it. The fucking music on that, amazing. But yeah, I could talk about how good the music is on there. Like, the Turrican series from Chris Hillsbeck. I mean, if you don't know, Turrican 2 is my favourite Amiga game soundtrack of all time. Then obviously you had like the Shadow of the Beast games. I mean, the first one was done by Whittaker, yeah, David Whittaker. Then the other two were done by Tim and Lee Wright. And even though a lot of people may have memories with like the first Shadow of the Beast, as great as I love the music on that, but listening to them, I actually think the third game has the best music, and it's probably the best game of the lot. Because the problem with the Shadow of the Beast games is like the graphics and the sound are mind blowing. But then when it comes to the gameplay, it's like, what gameplay? Yeah, the gameplay, it's like an afterthought. An afterthought, it's like as if it's just all it is a glorified glorified demo disguised as a video game. And it was a very it was very expensive for its time when it came out in '89. And I think the game itself, I think it cost like £34.99. That was for 1989. That's a lot of money. But believe it or not, the game actually came with a t-shirt. Whether it fit you or not, I have no idea. But yeah, the music on that game's good. If it suits the atmosphere of the game, even though the controls are a bit, well, the controls are fucking wonky. Let's have it right. It's one of those games. I mean, it looks nice, but it's far from nice playing it. I mean, obviously it was on the Mega Drive. Yeah, the Mega Drive version was shite. Yeah, absolutely fucking dreadful on there. But yeah, what other games were that had great soundtracks? I mean, well, David Whittaker did loads of good soundtracks for the Amiga. Xenon, obviously, the first Xenon, but I actually like the ST version more. Prefer the sounds on that. I mean, he did the music for the Thundercats game, which was the only good thing about it. I didn't even like the Thundercats cartoon, even though I had Thundercats on video to the thing that actually belonged. Well, I didn't have it on video. My brother did, but I watched it because I wasn't really into. Yeah, I wasn't really into it. Yeah, I watched it because I mean it kept me quiet, regardless if I liked it or not. It just kept me quiet as a kid. Because other times I was just like running about screaming. Yeah, because I mean, I know as a kid, I mean, a little things used to get me all excited, like obviously Thomas the Tank Engine. But we'll go back onto like the Amiga. So obviously we had David Whittaker doing some great music for that. What other games did he do music for? Weird Dreams. He did the music for Kickstart 2, the Amiga version, which is nowhere near as good as it is on the Commodore 64 by Sean Southern. It was the other games at Archipelagos or something like that. I've probably mispronounced that, but I like the music on that. What other games did he do the music for? Yeah, he did the music for Total Recall on the Amiga, which is, I mean, a pretty shit game, but that music, oh my god. Honestly, you'd think it'd be from the actual movie itself. But Jonathan Dunn did the music for the other versions. But I think Whittaker probably did a better job. What other ones did he do? Return to Genesis. Trying to think of other ones. The real Ghostbusters game, yeah. The game based off that Ghostbusters cartoon, which was really good. One of the first cartoons I actually remember watching. It was like reruns or something like that. I try to think of other ones that Whittaker did. Dogs of War. Yeah, Tune. The game itself wasn't too bad. He also did the music for Platoon. Not the C64 version, that was Jonathan Dunn. What's the other? No, I'm trying to think of other ones. Oh, well, I mentioned Platoon, so yeah. Wrath of the Demon, which is like, I mean, it's similar to Shadowed Beast, except you ride a horse. But the game itself, it looks nice, but it's absolute wank. Sidewinder, yeah. But yeah, it's just some really good ones. And then you had other musicians like Richard Joseph, who sadly no longer here. I mean, Whittaker did music for the first Speedball game. But yeah, Joseph did the music for Speedball 2. He did Sensible Soccer, Sensible World of Soccer, and Cannon Fodder, obviously with John Herr from Sensible Software. And also he did the music for like other games like the Chaos Engine. Absolutely, probably his best soundtrack in my opinion. Gods. I like the look of the game, but I don't really like how it plays. Wicked was another one though. That was a strange game. Cadaver. Yeah, there's a few other ones. Who else? Yeah, Alistair Brimble. Yeah, I had to mention him. I couldn't ignore him. Yeah, Project X. Alien Breed, yeah, the Alien Breed games. Super Frog, yeah. Yeah, I know it's a platformer. Some of the games are a little cutesy, but I really like the game. And usually, I'm not a fan of stuff that's like overly cute or anything like that. But it is a fun game. It's bloody difficult though. But saying that, a lot of games by Team 17 were balls hard. We did the music for Full Contact. That game looks nice, but it plays like rat's ass. What other ones did he do? Overdrive. He did music for some like the Dizzy games on there as well, like Spellbound Dizzy. Yeah, some of those games are good. Any others from him? Body Blows. Not a great fighting game, but that was probably the closest that the Amiga could get to a decent fighting game. Saying that, Mortal Kombat on the Amiga actually wasn't too bad. And I think Brimble did the music for that Amiga version too, so it's not too bad. Who else? Who else did some good music for the Amiga? I know Jonathan Dunn's music was a bit hit and miss on there, despite how good his music was for the Commodore 64 and Spectrum. I mean, he did the music for the Darkman game, which, to be fair, a beautiful piece of music. Yeah, and he uses like the Korg 1 synthesizer, a Korg M1 synthesizer, which was like a popular synthesizer used during the late 80s and early 90s. And a lot of songs from that time, like Crystal Waters' Gypsy Woman uses that same synthesizer. And Desiree, You Gotta Be. And for some odd reason, just as I was thinking, the neighbour's dog starts barking. It's making an appearance again on these videos. Making its appearance. I didn't ask for them to be here, but they're here. Can't really do anything about it. I mean, you might not be able to hear it, but I can. But I have to put up and deal with it. But it's always the way though. It never happens when I don't record a video, but it happens as soon as I do. So yeah. And I was also glad when I didn't record it before, because a car alarm went off. Absolutely fantastic. But anyway, we're getting back onto topic. Who else did some good music on the Amiga? Jochen Hippel. I'm probably mispronouncing him, but his music is really good. Games like I mentioned Wings of Death, which is really good. Lethal Excess, another shoot 'em up. Chambers of Shaolin, a pretty mediocre like martial arts game, but it's not too bad. Martin Iverson, I almost forgot about him. I mean, come on, his music's phenomenal. I'd look at some of the games that he did the music for. Obviously, he did the music for the Jaguar XJ220 game. Yeah, the music on that slaps. There's a lot of like slap bass and stuff like that. Other games he did was he did music for Heimdall, which was like it was like a point and click sort of game, wasn't it? If I'm not mistaken. What other games did he do? Skeleton Crew. The soundtrack on that. Wow. Listen to the CD32 version. Yeah, it's like how can I put it? It's like grimy sort of music. His music changed from the stuff he was doing for Jaguar XJ220 to that. Skeleton Crew is a very late release for the Amiga. By Chord Design as well, because he did the music for Chord Design. Yeah, the same company who obviously go on to make games like the original Tomb Raider games on the PlayStation. Yeah. But yeah. Who else did some good music for the Amiga other than Martin Iverson? Barry Leach. I nearly forgot about him. Lotus Turbo Challenge 2. Enough said. Phenomenal. The game Harlequin. as well. A pretty mediocre platformer, but the music he did was really good. Hero Quest, yeah, the video game based off the board game, and the same for Space Crusade. I mean, I've never played either of them, but the soundtracks on those games are really good. Lethal Weapon, yeah, he did the music for that with Dean Evans. That's that. Oh yeah, I forgot one, and that's for Martin Iverson. We'll go back to the game Premiere, which is a platform game where you have to like collect like film reels. Yeah, a really challenging game, but it's one of the better platformers for the Amiga. I'll name one more musician that's for the Amiga, but otherwise I'll be here all day. Patrick Phelan, another one, like with Barry Leach, he worked for Gremlin Graphics. He did the music for Zool, which is one of the best soundtracks on the Amiga. He did the music for Lotus 3, the third game, because Barry Leach only did the music for the second game, and Sean Southern only did it for the first. But yeah, I could talk about the Amiga all day. But yeah, what else? Well, obviously the Super Nintendo. But the soundtracks on that are great. I'm useless at naming composers for the SNES because the majority of them, if not all of the ones I like, are Japanese. I think the only one I could probably pronounce is Koji Kondo. Yeah, no. Yeah, Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island, Zelda: A Link to the Past. He did some news for Pilot Wings, which is a superb game. I try to think, obviously, and then obviously Uematsu for the Final Fantasy games. But yeah, you expect that. Donkey Kong Country, the Donkey Kong Country series, though, great music on all of those games. Especially the first Donkey Kong Country. I'll be honest with you, the first Donkey Kong Country has the best music, in my opinion. But DKC 2 is probably the best game in the series. Yeah, David Wise. Yeah, Battletoads versus Double Dragon, another good one. Battletoads and Battlemaniacs. But yeah, the other game, F-Zero, yeah, I had to mention that game. The music on that game never gets old. Doesn't matter which level it is. Could be Mute City, could be Big Blue, not Bonnie Blue. Don't go searching her if you don't know who she is. But I think most of the internet know who she is now. What other games had good soundtracks for the Super Nintendo? Well, Super Metroid. Super Turrican, yeah, that just came to me. What other ones? Star Fox, even though the game's called Star Wing over here in the UK. Street Fighter 2, yeah, you have to mention Street Fighter 2. Yeah. One of the best arcade conversions ever created, as far as I'm concerned. I like it more than the original arcade version, and that includes the music. But yeah, everyone has a favourite theme in Street Fighter 2. Most people I talk to say their favourite theme is obviously Guile's. I mean, his theme's fantastic, but I think my favourite theme in Street Fighter 2 is probably, I don't know, probably Ken's. But saying that, he's my favourite character in Street Fighter 2, so yeah. Yeah, I'm more of a Ken fan than I'm Ryu. Speaking of fighting games, Killer Instinct, yeah. Which is probably one of the finest fighting games ever created. Earthworm Jim. But again, even on the Mega Drive, it's absolutely amazing. Which other soundtracks are great for the SNES? Super Castlevania 4. Probably my favourite soundtrack on the SNES other than Final Fantasy 6. I'm sorry, that game to me is just absolutely fantastic. But yeah, you had reviews of the game. I've seen like reviews like 7 or 8 out of 10. I'd give the game near enough a 10, honestly. But people say, oh, it's easier compared to the other Castlevania games. But it's still not a bloody easy game, let me tell you. I mean, the original Castlevania is much, much harder than the one on the NES. But I mean, I completed that. Castlevania 4, completed that a handful of times. Though the last level's the last level's a bastard though. Especially that bit, you know, where you have to like jump on these like moving platforms, and then there's like spikes. If you don't move at a certain time, or if you don't jump at the right time, you're fucked. It's an absolute bastard of a level at the final stage. But obviously, you like a good challenge. But yeah, the music complements the game really well. I forgot to mention Super Mario Kart. How could I? Not my favourite game in the series, but in terms of music, I think it's the best one, soundtrack-wise. People talk about Mario Kart 64, Double Dash, DS, Wii, but the original Super Mario Kart's got a banging soundtrack. And it's got the best version of Rainbow Road. Not the track itself. The original Rainbow Road's a bastard to get around. Especially if you're using Luigi. That's why I don't. Luigi drifts too much. So if I play Super Mario Kart, I'm usually... I do play as Mario, but it's usually Toad or Yoshi, because actually, no, not Yoshi. Toad or Koopa, because I prefer the way those characters handle. I mean, Bowser's pretty good to use. I can't really argue about that. Because, I mean, you can get some pretty good times on the time trials with him. Secret of Mana. I'll be here all day for the Super Nintendo. The Mega Drive. Sonic the Hedgehog. Doesn't matter which Sonic game it is. I even like the music on Sonic Spinball. I know some people aren't too keen on it, because the soundtrack on that is dead gritty. Yeah, it's like really gritty. And you know what? People say the Super Nintendo has a better sound chip. And you know what? I agree. The SNES does have the better sound chip. But because I didn't grow up with a Super Nintendo, I only got into the SNES when I started collecting. Even though, like I said, I knew friends and neighbours who had the Super Nintendo. But I had a Mega Drive, so I will obviously prefer and gravitate towards music on the Mega Drive a lot more, because that's what I had. We didn't have a SNES in our household, not as a kid. We had like the first game console we had, well, which we brought was the NES. So obviously I played on that, and that was the only Nintendo console we owned for a long time, as in like a home console, not including like the Game Boy or Game Boy Advance, because the handheld we had them. But you know. We didn't have like the Super Nintendo. Didn't have a I did have a Nintendo 64 when I started collecting, but as I first played on a friend's Nintendo 64, because when the N64 was, I won't necessarily say when it was in its peak, probably towards the latter end of the console's life. For us in our house, it was the PlayStation 1. And then obviously we moved on to like Xbox, PlayStation 2, then like the PS3 and 360. But yeah, music wise for the Mega Drive, I always prefer it to the SNES. Even though the SNES does have a better sound chip. I can't really argue about that. Though there are some game music that does actually sound better on the Mega Drive compared to the SNES counterpart. We'll use the game Cool Spot as an example. Yeah, them bass lines from Tommy Tallarico, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I know that guy unfortunately. Well, let's just say with the debacle with that disaster of a console that was meant to be released, though, the Amico. Yeah, I remember when people were jumping onto the Amico bandwagon, thinking that, oh yeah, this new console's gonna come out. Yeah, and Tommy was certain that this console was going to be made and going to be released to the public. Well, that ended up being a pipe dream, didn't it? Yeah, and I think they ended up losing a lot of money. And because of what was going on, a lot of people turned on him, and rightly so. But yeah, the Mega Drive, you had soundtracks like that, Streets of Rage, all three of them. Preferably Streets of Rage 1. I mean, as a game, I think. Actually, you know what? Soundtrack-wise, I think they're on par with one another. A lot of people may prefer Streets of Rage 2 over 1, As a game, I've always had more of a soft spot for the first one, but I grew up with both of them anyway, so I'll start. Road Rash, absolutely got a bit of Road Rash on there. And yeah, I know a lot of people say the Hubbard stuff was better on the Commodore 64. Yeah, it was his best piece of work, but I actually liked the music on Road Rash. He also did the music to the John Madden football. That's that. What other ones that were good for the Mega Drive? Revenge of Shinobi, Shinobi 3, Phantasy Star, all of them. Even though Final Fantasy, no, I meant to say Phantasy Star 3 was rubbish. That was a shit game. Phantasy Star 2 is great. Number 4, absolutely fantastic. I'm not really the biggest like RPG person, because I'm more into like your platformers, your stuff like that, your fighting games, races, stuff like that. But yeah, they're pretty good RPGs. Then you have some fantastic shooters with some of the best music I've ever heard, and probably my favourite soundtrack on the Mega Drive, Thunder Force 4. If you like heavy rock music, then you've come to the right place. Truxton as well. That game's legendary. Really difficult. I've never even completed it. I got to like there's 5 levels, but the game, like, the difficulty increases through each playthrough. So there's like 5 different difficulty modes. So if you end up playing the game 5 times, it ends up being like 25 levels. But yeah, more often than not, when I've played it, I've got to I can get to level 3 every single time, and then more often than not, I just loot. I mean, I've done it. I've been like that on the games where I haven't lost a single life, only for me to lose all of them just on one level. Yeah, that's happened a lot with certain games where you go through certain levels, you've been through certain levels, not losing a single life or anything, only to get to a particular level, lose all of them, and game over. And I think I've only got to the 4th level like once. No cheats or anything like that. But yeah, but sometimes, I have completed games with cheats to get like all powers, but at the same time, sometimes when you have like all powers, it just makes the game too easy, or it kills a lot of that enjoyment. What other ones had good soundtracks for the Mega Drive? Rocket Knight Adventures, fantastic game as well by Konami. Castlevania Bloodlines. The game's called Castlevania: The New Generation over here because I don't think you like the game, the name Blood or anything mentioned in PAL titles or in PAL regions at the time. It's like obviously the Ninja Turtles. Yeah, they were called the Hero Turtles over here until until they got the priorities right and realised that, oh yeah, the word ninja's not that violent. It's weird how they banned stuff like Ninja in like the 1980s. Yeah, they allowed it for games like Last Ninja. Weird. It's weird how they banned stuff like that. Yeah, during the 80s you had like riots, like obviously you had the Brixton riots, Tottenham riots, and then the Tog stuff ones in 1981. But it's weird that it's like there's some people like they allow riots to happen, yet the word ninja, oh yeah, that's worse. Like, Jesus Christ, I mean, some weird times. And then people saying that, oh yeah, the world's got more politically correct now. I mean, things was as go PC back then, but at least for the most part, people weren't complaining at you as much as they do now. But yeah, but anyway, I need to get back on track. Other ones, yeah, Mortal Kombat, yeah. All the Mortal Kombat games on the Mega Drive have great music. Especially the first two, obviously. Because they asked Matt Furniss to do the music for it. And if you've heard of Matt Furniss' soundtrack on the Mega Drive, you know how bloody good his music was. And still is. one of the best game composers from England. So that's that. And you have an English game composer showing giving the Japanese and even the Americans a good run for their money. More so, especially the Japanese. I mean, you're thinking, yeah, how can his stuff compare? Then you listen to it and like, oh yeah, this is something complete. This is something special. Yeah, it's absolutely special. But yeah, I like the 16-bit systems. You like great music. I mean, the TurboGrafx 16 PC engine. So it's alright. I mean, there's some songs, some tunes on it that sound good. Like the shoot 'em ups on the like blazing lasers. But I think it's got a different name in Japan. I can't think what it's called, but yeah, that console was fantastic for shooters. But yeah, as I say, the 16-bit era probably in my mind had the best music though. Obviously, had a lot of the 8-bit stuff that was great, and the micros. But yeah, it's weird that I thought I was going to run out of topics. I thought I was going to struggle. But when it came to video games, I'm like, you know what? We'll just I thought I'd have a good discussion and everything. And I did think that this vlog will be as long as it was. Like, it's now, it's gone over 51 minutes. So I think, I mean, shall I end the vlog here? I'm not sure because I was enjoying myself then. But I think I will have to stop it here because of like because I'll probably end up being on YouTube, watching some streams or some really good videos. And the reason why I spend a lot of my time on YouTube when I'm not working is because the stuff that you see on YouTube, you end up finding stuff that you really enjoy, and it's not better than the fucking drivel that you see on TV. Where nowadays they have to give you a PG warning. They always have to do it. They always give you like a PG warning to something that's as inoffensive as something that's not even offensive, like a Laurel and Hardy short or whatever. They'll probably end up putting a PG warning for something as childish as SpongeBob SquarePants or Horrid Henry. I don't bloody know. Whatever the kids watch. I mean, back in my day, when I was a kid, like the British stuff, Thomas the Tank Engine, Fireman Sam, Postman Pat, Pingu, even though Pingu isn't British, yet a lot of us Brits grew up with it. Rainbow as well, with good old Zippy. Hey, George. God, you're an absolute bellend. Well, he didn't say bellend in there. But then you had like mutated stuff like Mr. Blobby, who I loved as a kid. I don't know how he didn't scare me. I know with him going, Mr. Blobby. Yeah, stuff like that. But yeah. You had stuff like that. Then obviously Nickelodeon, when it was good, wasn't just like your cartoons like Ren and Stimpy, which is one of the greatest cartoons ever. SpongeBob in the first 3 series. Rocko's Modern Life. Cat Dog was fantastic. Our Real Monsters. My favourite cartoon on there was Rugrats. Before Tommy had his brother. Before he had his brother Dill. And to be honest with you, the Rugrats just went downhill after that. But before that, it was like one of the greatest cartoons ever made. Fairly Odd Parents, that started off good. I wasn't a fan of Danny Phantom at the time, but looking back, it's a well-made cartoon. And then Butch Hartman went weird, as in like the creator of the show cartoon. But also you had like your sitcoms on there. You had Keenan and Kel, which I absolutely loved. We ever do like the orange soda. Yeah. When he was go, I do. Ooh. You remember that? You had the Clarissa Explains It All. Wasn't the biggest fan of that, but I used to watch it. Sabrina the Teenage Witch, because Nickelodeon in the UK used to show that. Sister was another show. Then obviously went into like Drake and Josh, which I liked that show. But then after that, I kind of grew. But I moved away from Nickelodeon. The Disney Channel, I didn't have as much experience with the Disney Channel because I was more of a Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network person. Even Nick Jr., would you believe? Because, as I say, they used to show like Tom's the Tank on there. Yeah, Blue's Clues. The British Blue's Clues, yeah, with the Scouse presenter, Kevin. Yeah, the American presenter, though. I've seen what the American Blue's Clues look like that. And I thought, no, this fella looks like a right nonce. Probably isn't. Yeah, like fucking Barney the Dinosaur. Where he's like, I love you. You love me. We're a happy family. I'm not a fucking happy person because you used to fucking terrify me as a kid. I mean, I could tolerate Mr. Blobby because I actually liked him. But Barney the Dinosaur, nah, he fucking freaked me out. I thought he was uncomfortable. And then you had some people saying that the Daleks or the Cybermen from Doctor Who were terrifying. Nah, they're fine, I could have them. But Barney the Dinosaur, though, they would just made me feel uncomfortable, so I avoided him like the plague. But yeah, Cartoon Network. Dexter's Laboratory, which is my favourite Cartoon Network cartoon growing up. Dexter's Lab, obviously, I love that. Donnie? Who's Donnie? Johnny, yeah, Johnny Bravo. I was going to say, who's Donnie? I was about to say Donnie Darko. That's a film, you absolute wanker. What else was on Cartoon Network, which I liked? Ed, Edd and Eddy, where they had like the Jawbreakers the size of their fucking head, if not bigger. It's weird though. Yeah, what else was on there? The Powerpuff Girls, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. That was actually a fun cartoon. What else did I used to like on there? What was it, like Space Ghost or something like that? That was weird, that. But it was like really, I was really young when that was on. Yeah, it was like, yeah, Space Ghost. That was a weird show. But I remember it. Freakazoid was on there. If anyone remembers that cartoon, you saw that. The Animaniacs, yeah, I used to love that. But I loved Pinky and the Brain even more. But yeah, I could talk about these cartoons all day. I mean, I could talk about Tom and Jerry. I could talk about Scooby-Doo. The original series from 1969. And probably the Scooby-Doo show. Not the one with Scrappy-Doo. I don't know, I found Scrappy-Doo annoying. I just wanted to kick him. And I don't condone violence or cruelty to animals because that's low. But fucking Scrappy-Doo, I don't know. I hate that bastard so much. But yeah, I think I'll call it an end here. I wasn't sure which direction this vlog was going to go, but I got one done nonetheless. I said I said to myself I was going to do one today. I just waited till my room had cooled down a bit. It's still 29 degrees, would you believe, where I am? It's ridiculous. So yeah, I think I'll end the vlog here. I hope you've all enjoyed it, and I will see you all whenever I next see you. So until then, take care and have a good day.